What's up, VaynerMedia? It's me, Mike, the CEO of Gary's Body. A lot of you submitted questions or asked questions today in the live Q&A, which was awesome. I really appreciate all of you being there and all of you who submitted questions if you couldn't make it. To be honest, I got through probably a third of the total questions, so I want to bang out the rest of them right now and hopefully, I don't know, email this up or put it on YouTube or get it in your hands somehow. Okay, so I'm just going to start reading them and cruising through. Bobby asks, what's the deal with protein shakes? Do you need them to get ripped? When? How often should you take them? So I don't really think of like protein shakes as something you take, like you take a supplement. Protein shakes are beneficial in hitting your protein goal for the day. And for those of you who are around today, we talked about macronutrients. Protein is one of the 3 macronutrients. You can... I'll actually link an article in the description about macronutrients if you want to read more, like a beginner's guide sort of on that. But protein shakes are just a convenient way to get your protein in for the day. Do you need them to get ripped? No. You need a calorie deficit to lose fat. You need a calorie surplus plus strength training, weightlifting to add muscle. So usually the combination of the add fat and gain muscle is how one would get ripped. But how often should you take them? Like as often as you want to hit your protein goals. Probably not in excess, not because there's any specific research saying that deriving a significant percentage of your protein from shakes is necessarily bad, but just because like for social normalcy and for like, do you really want to be passing meals and just eating protein shakes all the time when you could be enjoying food out with people whose company you enjoy instead, right? So have them to hit your protein goals, not necessary though. Alex asks, what's the best way to curb hunger spells when it's not mealtime? I get hungry between meals. So a few things. One, yeah, it sucks. Staying super hydrated is one tip that I recommend. Caffeine can be good if you do caffeine. It's an appetite suppressant, so that can help. I think you want snack ideas. I don't love giving specific snack ideas because it's completely contextual. There are no good or bad foods without knowing more about what you're trying to do, who you are, where you're coming from. But I assume that you are struggling to get enough protein during the day or have enough fruits and veggies or things that fill you up. So fresh fruits, fresh veggies, Quest bars are fine, like protein bars and shakes are fine. I'm not going to tell you to go steal Metrics bars from the closet on 15 because that'd be really bad, and I've never done that before. And this is a one-take thing. I don't know how to edit, so if I say stupid shit like that, I just have to let the camera roll. It's one of the downsides of being a complete meat-headed bro. What else for snacks? Shakes are fine. You can just eat more meals. If you're a person who doesn't do well, you can't make it from 12:30 to 7 p.m. without eating, I would just make a 3:30 meal, Greek yogurt with fruit, or really any type of food. But plan it in advance so you know what you're bringing in. You don't get stuck in a situation where you go to the fish bowl and grab a bunch of Swedish fish because you just didn't know what to do and you were dying of hunger and you only had 30 seconds till your next meeting. So plan, fresh fruit, fresh veggies, try and get some protein. Those are kind of the basics. Danielle asked, what is the best and safest way to lose 5 to 10 pounds in a short time span? You can't. Especially if you are a short girl like you are. The more lean body mass you have, and lean body mass, muscle mass is correlated with both height and gender. So tall dudes have a greater capacity for lean body mass than a shorter girl. You're on the more the less lean body mass side of the spectrum. You probably can't sustainably lose more than 1.5 to 2 pounds of body fat in a week. Probably closer to 1 is sustainable for you. We can see the scale drop by that much if we cut carbs out, because carbohydrates, when we eat them, are stored in our muscles primarily, other places in the body as well. But those carbs have, for every gram of carb you eat, 4 grams of water binds to it. So when you eat a lot of carbs, your the scale weight can go up if you're on a low carb diet. That's why that happens. So you can see the scale go down 5 to 10 pounds by screwing around with water weight, but like that isn't sustainable. It's not really going to change the way you look for more than like a day maybe. What I would say is just plan longer term and don't try to lose 10 pounds before your like trip to Miami or whatever. Ashley says, I read about macros, but I still don't understand. Okay, we talked about that today. I'm not going to go over it again, but I will link that article below, so check that out if you want to know more. It's like 4,000 words. There's some spelling errors and shit, but I don't know. I think it's like mildly helpful. Megan asks, what's the right formula? Cardio first, then weight training, or weight training, then cardio? I assume you mean in the same session, and it's really personal preference. Probably cardio second if I had to choose one. I really don't like this setup. Depends how many days a week you're going too. Like if you're going every day, I would say stop doing that and just like you can do cardio on your rest day and then have 3 strength training days. But if your schedule's like packed to the brim and you only have 3 45-minute blocks per week to work out and you're doing weight training and cardio in that 45-minute block, like you're sacrificing one, right? Whichever you do first, strength training or cardio, is going to be better because you're going to be fresher, and what you do second is going to suffer a little bit. So part of it is what you prioritize more. For most people, I would say strength training. However, if you want to run a 5K coming up and you want to perform decently well, then maybe prioritize the cardio in that situation, okay? But in a perfect world, I wouldn't stack those sessions back to back. That way you can derive the full benefit from each. Emily says, or asks, what's the best way to diversify workouts to stay motivated? Is there a specific balance of types of exercise? Diversify to stay motivated. I have a hard time answering this one. It's super contextual. Changing up what you're doing and doing a variety of different things can help people stay motivated. It can also help you figure out what you like to do, which we talked about a little bit today. I don't know if we even have audio from earlier. Otherwise, I would post that and like stop half referencing to it. But I'm like hedging against the fact that I completely screwed up by not turning on my mic, and you're not going to be able to get any of that. So I want to kind of cover stuff here. Is there a specific balance of exercise? Emily, email me, michaelvacanti@gmail.com, because like I don't know if you're trying to lose body fat. I don't know what exactly you're trying to do. I don't know what you have access to as far as equipment goes, injury limitations, like tons of stuff. But if we're gonna have a hierarchy of fitness stuff for most people's goals, which is look, feel better, move better, I think strength training is number one, and I think like some mix of stretching, yoga, myofascial release like foam rolling, or like other recovery techniques kind of falls in this next bucket. And then cardio is like somewhere in the 2 to 3 tier, depending on who you are, whether or not you enjoy it, because if you enjoy it, you should absolutely do it. Yeah. Courtney, can you give us some healthy snacks to eat during work so we're not tempted to head to the fishbowl for candy? All right, so we covered that. Vanessa, if heavy lifting is not an option for a female due to injuries, what's the most effective training to burn fat fast? I seem to see similar results with cardio and HIIT, even when keeping a clean diet. Oh, I don't seem to see similar results. Gotcha. So you can't strength train because you have an injury. That sucks. I'm sorry. With just cardio, you're not seeing the same results. I think heavy lifting is good for building strength, for functionality, for building muscle, for retaining muscle while losing fat. I think it's great for a million other reasons, but for the calorie expenditure aspect of strength training, I don't think it makes sense. Like, I don't think it makes sense to rely on lifting for that. Now, if you're not concerned about losing a little bit of muscle while losing fat, we just got to zero in on diet, right? Because that's where figure out your total daily energy expenditure and set your calorie intake from there. Boom, like follow that for a little while, track results. If you're not seeing results, adjust your calories up or down. If you're not seeing the results you expected, meaning if you're losing weight faster than you expected, I would eat a little bit more. If you're super hungry, I would eat a little bit more. if you are losing, like if you're not losing weight, if you've plateaued after 2.5, 3 weeks, then I would add calories, or subtract calories, sorry. I'm kind of spacey. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. It's late. That sucks though, that like the cardio stuff isn't getting you the same results here. Lacey, is leg day really that important? Yeah, it actually is. And I'm not just saying, like, for me personally, I'm probably 70%, 30% upper body stuff, just because I'm what most bros would call a show pony, in that I don't play any professional sports or don't have any reason to be super athletic. Rather, I lift for the way that it makes me look and it makes me feel, and I just enjoy it. So I don't care if my legs are like huge, and legs grow much easier than upper body. So you can train your lower body less to have lower body muscle, lower body definition. Now, what I have found through designing 1,000 programs for like how many clients in my online coaching program, that women tend to do much better on fat loss programs that are lower body focused. Meaning, yes, leg day really is that important, because like I've done like a 4-day-a-week strength training program where 2 days are upper and 2 days are lower, and that type of program for a woman just works so much worse than a 3 full body day, or any kind of program where she's hitting her legs 3 times a week rather than 2. So yeah, it's pretty important. And I'll just throw this in. I don't know if this is your specific goal. I know a lot of women come to me and say, like, I don't want the big bulky quads, but I want a butt. I want like nice defined hamstrings. You should be doing hip dominant exercises rather than knee dominant exercises. And what that means is something like a deadlift, where you're picking weight up here, or like a Romanian deadlift, or something that is training your posterior chain, rather than something like a front squat, or a lunge where your upper body is upright, where you're hitting your quad, or a knee dominant exercise. Hip thrusts, glute bridges, those are other like very good hip dominant exercises that really go after the glutes. Dan asks, what's it like to be super jacked? Which, it could be a troll question, and I respect that a lot if it is. I think it's pretty funny. But assuming that it's not, I'm just gonna assuming like the 10% chance that you're actually asking me this question, I'm gonna give you a serious answer. If you are trying to change your body via fitness stuff because you think that looking differently and having other people like perceive you differently is going to change how you feel about yourself, or how your life is, or how successful you are, then you're in it for the wrong reasons, and it's honestly not going to pay off for you. The upside to having quote unquote a good physique, or whatever you want to call it, whatever good is to you, is the confidence derived through the process. So going in there and 4 or 5 years ago and not thinking that I could squat 315 pounds, and being able to squat it and being like, this is awesome, and all that went into building up to that point, and all like the self-doubt and all of like the like bad feelings and bad energy that I released through strength training made me better. And so that's the real upside, is the process, and what you learn about yourself through the process, and how that process translates into other aspects of life, into business, and into your relationships, and into how you treat other people, and into your emotional control, and just everything. So yeah, I guess that's what it's like to be super jacked. Honestly, I think it's paid. I think when you guys call me Muscle Mike and Magic Mike, I think it's really objectifying. I'm going to the beach in a couple days, tomorrow, or in 2 days. I'm going down to Florida where my family's gonna be, and then I'm gonna meet Gary. And I know for a fact that when I take off my shirt and walk down the beach, I'm going to be objectified by women everywhere, and I just find it offensive. That's for you, India. Sam asked, what are a few of the most effective strength training / conditioning workouts one can do without weights or the gym? Awesome. You can definitely grow muscle and you can get stronger doing body weight stuff. Moves that I like, push-ups, different variations. So go like wide, go narrow, go military, go elbows in. Change up the tempo, right? So go like 3-4 second eccentric, 3-4 second concentric too, like on the way up and the way down. Get a lot of time under tension with your chest. Pull-ups, different variations of pull-ups, overhand, overhand wide, parallel grip, underhand grip. Like what we're doing there is it keeps the shoulder in a different position, and changing that up is going to ensure you're not doing the same thing and like wearing down on the shoulder joint. But it also, like, an overhand grip is working more pec and lat, whereas an underhand grip is working more bicep and lat. What else? Like horizontal pulling is super hard in a body weight setup. You can get under your kitchen table if you have room. Like in the city, I don't know how many of us do, but being underneath the table and pulling your chest up to it, tons of lower body stuff. Bulgarian split squats, explosive jump squats, body weight pause squats, prisoner squats, overhead squats, glute bridges, single leg glute bridges, glute bridge holds, lots of like plank type stuff. Grab some heavy shit around you in your apartment, like throw it on your back while you're doing a plank. That's not necessarily going to get you abs, but it is going to improve core strength, which is going to decrease the risk of injury, which is always good. But yeah, like push-ups and pull-ups, because they're both multi-muscle exercises. You're getting like chest, tricep, front delt. You can elevate your feet and do push-ups and get a little bit of that anterior and medial delt too, as well as the upper chest. Those are some body weight moves I like. Pat says, if you're too lazy to actually count macros, can you provide a general rule of thumb for someone trying to lose fat and gain muscle? I can't. I really can't, because we're going to live like 80 or 85 or 90 or 100 years or wherever the hell science takes us to. And if you can't spend 6 weeks to really dedicate yourself to doing this and like really counting macros, because I truly believe that learning that process will teach you more about food than anything else in the world. And if you don't have 6 weeks out of 100 years to learn something that's going to change the way you think about food and can manipulate your body composition for the rest of your life, then I don't know what to tell you. If you're still not like pumped up, or if you still don't want to do it, I would Google precision nutrition, like estimating portion sizes, and one of those articles is going to give you some bullshit infograph that probably like got 1 million likes on Pinterest, where it's like nuts equal to your thumb is a serving, or like something equal to your palm is a serving. It's like this weird hack trick book that you can use, and it might work, or you might think it works, but I would just count your macros, straight up. Yeah, I'm gonna butcher this name. I'm sorry, Ilya. Like, I never know if it's a capital I-L or 2 L's. I don't think it would be 2 capital I's. What's the best quick exercise routine to hit multiple muscle groups in the least amount of time? Compound moves. So I would squat, I would deadlift, I would press overhead, like things like a hamstring curl or a bicep curl or an overhead tricep extension, which only work a single muscle, are not very efficient. I would shy away from those. But yeah, sticking to the basics is going to be a good thing. Alex asks about foot cramps and how to prevent them. Like, on the fringe of my knowledge base, I think staying hydrated helps prevent muscle cramps in general. You can also go after your feet, not during the cramp obviously, but at other parts of the day with a tennis ball or a peanut, which is like 2 tennis balls taped together, which is actually really nice for like hitting your lumbar spine, your thoracic spine, because these 2 balls, like, they miss your vertebrae and then they hit on both sides of it. The reason you do this is for that myofascial release I was talking about before. I'm sorry my head keeps cutting out of the frame. I'm sure some of you who are like super good at video just want to rip my face off right now. But yeah, I would like stand on the tennis ball, not with all your weight, but move it around on your feet for, I don't know, 3 minutes a few times per day. You can also do this while sitting at a desk. I think you can get enough pressure on doing that. Alex also asks, is cardio really necessary because I truly hate it? No, it's not. Assuming your goal isn't to be really, really good at cardio, no, doing traditional cardio is not necessary. I personally have not done cardio in many months. I haven't run for fitness in years. I do enjoy walking sometimes, so like if I want to lose fat and I want to accelerate the process, I'll walk at night for an hour just because it's a nice way to clear my head and I enjoy it. But no, cardio is absolutely not necessary. Minnie, what up, Minnie? What are the best foods to eat after a cardio workout versus a weight training workout? So two very different answers. After strength training, I'm going to give you a simple answer, which is a combination of protein and carbohydrates. It's just like spikes insulin the most. It is the best way to get protein into your body to help recover from that strength training session. Your muscles break down while you're lifting, little tiny tears and fibers, and you repair that with protein. The carbs aid in the release of insulin, but to be honest, if you're using like a whey protein shake, adding carbs with it has a very, very marginal increase on the insulin spike. And if I'm talking over your head, we want to spike insulin because that's going to help grab the amino acids from your bloodstream and pull them into your muscles, aiding recovery faster. Probably more than you wanted to know, but whole meal or shake or whatever you want to do right after your workout, or 20 minutes after, or 40 minutes after, it's all probably fine, but at least 30 grams of protein plus carb. Shake plus banana would be awesome. After a cardio workout, like post-workout nutrition for cardio, assuming aesthetics or looking better is the goal, rather than performing at something specific, which is kind of the assumption I operate on unless told differently. I would straight up, if you're thinking about post-workout cardio nutrition, I would just skip the cardio session and I wouldn't eat like in that window right there. Problem solved. Like there was a funny post several years back about this guy who's like gets up 2 hours before he has to and goes on this super long run because he needs to lose fat faster and yada yada yada, and then after has this super caloric post-workout drink that essentially offset the calorie expenditure from his very long, intense calorie session. And it's like, look, guy, you could have slept an extra 2 hours, you could have recovered better, you could have done something else with that time, rather than offsetting the cal expenditure with post-workout nutrition. So I would just eat, I mean, if you're doing cardio because you like cardio, is there something optimal to eat after cardio? No, just eat your next meal, hit your macros for the day, or hit what you're supposed to be hitting on the plan you're on, that you're crushing it at. Another question, is dairy bad for you? No, I'm not going to like blanket yes or no this, but some people don't do well digestively with dairy. Those people shouldn't eat dairy. Some people, like this guy right here, just crush dairy, like crush loads of dairy all the time and do absolutely fine. So like it's completely individual. If you don't do well, don't eat it. If you like it, doesn't bother you, eat it. How does caffeine affect your metabolism? There's been quite a bit of research on this, and ingesting caffeine does lead to a non-negligible, so like a statistically significant uptick in your metabolic rate, so in calorie expenditure for that day. And to be honest, I'm not exactly sure the dosage, the timing, or how many additional calories it burned, but it does help. So just be reasonable with it. Like, don't drink 1,200 milligrams of caffeine. Don't have like 16 cups of coffee. And also don't assume that because I had all this caffeine, I can eat this because my metabolism's up for the day, because it's not going to, like any of these tricks and hacks and green tea extract and cinnamon in the morning or whatever, none of that offsets the basics and like the pillars of keeping energy balance and keeping your macros in check. Jenna, what do you think about juice cleanses / detoxes in terms of their pricing, convenience, and nutritional value? I'm going to do a long form blog post with a 5-part video series on equals and alternatives on this very subject. I'm like 1/100th of the way there on research mode. So to be super honest, I don't have all of the answers to this right now. I do not know in terms of pricing, because I know you buy them in like a kit, and I assume you get more of a discount than if you just buy the juice by itself. So I don't know on price. Convenience seems super convenient. Like they ship this box to your house from juicecleansescam.com for $199.95, and then you just drink them. So like it seems pretty convenient. Nutritional value, it depends entirely on the type of cleanse. Most of them are going to have you in a larger calorie deficit than I would want, meaning just not enough total energy that you're eating or drinking in this case, and generally not enough protein. Some of them you'll have like juice and then a reasonable dinner, but that for most people ends up being like 30 grams of protein in a day, which just isn't enough. They're not sustainable. I don't think like local pressed juice or whatever, like this new trending juice thing, is bad by any means. I think it's a great way to get vitamins and minerals in your diet. So I'm cool with many juices, and I'll go over those details next week or in 2 weeks or whenever I get it published. But the nutritional value of the entire detox cleanse juice process is not good. Mike asks, what kind of workout do you recommend for a guy who wants to go to the gym 2 to 3 days per week and be toned, not jacked? First of all, why would you not want to be jacked? Especially after I talked about how awesome being jacked is. What would I recommend? So it depends where you are right now. And to get toned, you're probably going to have to lose some fat and maybe build a little bit of muscle, but maybe not, because you don't want to be like too big. So to lose fat, calorie deficit, high protein to maintain the muscle you have. What kind of workouts should you be doing? Strength-based. Like the way that you build muscle mass is through volume, so lots of reps in the 8 to 12 and even like 15 or 20 rep range, and eating more calories than you burn. That's what leads to hypertrophy. That's what leads to muscle growth over time. So I would train primarily in lower rep ranges, in the 5 to 8 rep range. Heavy, long rest periods, 2, 3, 4 minutes between multi-muscle exercises, squats, deadlifts, shoulder press, bench press, pull-ups. Keep protein high, stay in a calorie deficit. You're gonna lean out, that's the type of training that I would suggest for someone if they wanted like a Brad Pitt Fight Club type of physique, or if not to that extreme, like just stop losing body fat before you get to 6% if you don't want to be that lean. Sonny asks, did we cover this today? I have a really hard time prioritizing rest and recovery. I guess that could be a good problem to have, but isn't rest and recovery as important as working out in the first place? Yes, it absolutely is. What's your approach to recovery? Do you alternate hard and easy days? Do you always take days off? I always take days off. Now, you are trying to build muscle, because we just talked today. I love how I'm like semi-exposing individual people's fitness goals. I don't know if that's weird or if that's something I should be doing, or if I should like blurb out everyone's first name in this entire video, which I don't know how to do. And I'm probably just going to post it. But anyway, that's just an interesting side note in my head. For fat loss, I like 3 training sessions per week. For muscle gain, I like between 3 and 5, depending on the individual. I would absolutely not be lifting weights 7 days per week. Yes, you are right. You do need time to recover. Your central nervous system needs time to recover. Your individual muscles need time to repair, and they need food to repair, and they need sleep to repair. So I always do take rest days. For building muscle, for you specifically, I would keep 20 to 30% of your workouts in that like 4 to 5 to 6 reps per set range with long rest periods. The multi-muscle stuff, build strength. I would keep the other 70% of your workouts in the 8 to 12, and then like a few in the 15 to 20 rep range, but primarily the 8 to 12 rep range, not going to failure. So like after your 12th curl, you could probably do 2 more curls, but you're not, okay? We're not going to failure regularly. Training 5 days a week, or 4 days a week actually, would be best. All right, and on those off days, you can do a little bit of yoga, you can walk, you can do absolutely nothing. It's really up to you, okay? Sasha, I've read somewhere that having small calves is genetic and there's no way to get them bigger. Is this true? And what are some things women can do to pump them up? I don't want to be like a bodybuilder. So it is true to an extent. That it's true to an extent, and I'm speaking from anecdotal experience and being around thousands of fitness people for over a decade. But it's a commonly held belief, and I have seen it and found it to be true. However, does that mean you can't grow your calves? No, absolutely not. And so what I would do to train them, and you won't become like a bodybuilder, like if you start to think, oh, my calves are starting to get too big, just stop doing the calf work, you know? Like it's not like the whole women getting big and bulky phenomenon. It's not like these girls on muscle magazines that you see in a Barnes and Noble with like pecs instead of boobs and like shoulder veins and super vascular and bigger arms than me. It's not like they woke up like that one morning. Like they started lifting weights and then one morning they were like, oh shit, like I'm super jacked. I didn't mean to get this way. Fuck, like this sucks, right? Like the extreme cases are always 100% of the time drug use, okay? They just are. Now, does that mean you can't get bigger and stronger than you want to training naturally or like going to CrossFit or whatever? No, it could happen, but it's going to be a long process, okay? That was a complete side note, not directed to you, Sasha. Back to the calves. Increasing time under tension helps with calf growth, I've found, which means I want you to do non-weighted, just like body weight calf work, and I want you to, oh, this is sick. This is like the first time this has been a functional thing in my apartment, which shows a lot of the calves I do. I should probably talk louder. I want you to hang out at the bottom of the calf raise so you're getting a nice stretch for like 5 seconds. I want you to spend a few seconds on the way up. Okay, 1, 2 to 3 seconds on the concentric. I'm here, my toes, like I'm pressing my toes down into the stair as hard as I can. My heels are up in the air, 5, 10 seconds maybe, and then spend 5 seconds on the way down. 4, 3, 2, 1, okay? Do a lot of volume like that. Do it maybe twice a week on opposite days. Like don't do it Wednesday and Thursday and take 5 days off. Do it Monday and Thursday. Yeah, and I think you will see calf growth. Adding food is also going to help. It's hard to build muscle in a calorie deficit. So maybe eating more on the days where you did that intense calf workout would be a good thing. Yeah, good luck. By the way, 2015, I'm jabbing the shit out of the world, okay? So if anyone wants to come and talk to me and like needs help or has questions or wants to email me or whatever, feel free to, because literally for the next 10 months, I'm just jabbing, like jab, 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 every day jabbing, all the time jabbing. That's all I'm doing. I'm literally like barely selling anything on my site. It's all just jabs. So take advantage if you've watched all 33 minutes of this video. Kim says, because of personal and professional obligations, I have 15 minutes of me time Monday through Friday. That's awesome that you want to dedicate this 15 minutes to fitness stuff, by the way. What is the most efficient and effective core workout in 15 minutes at home? All right, so I would ask, we have an hour 15 a week. We have Monday through Friday. Why do you want to spend that entire hour 15 on your core? I don't want to make assumptions, but I'm going to and say that that's like the area that you most want work on it. Now I'm really starting to feel like I should be bleeping out names, and I feel like Emily's going to freak out on me, like there's HR repercussions, but I'm not even a Vayner employee, and Gary's in London, so like I think I'm fine. What I would do planks, I would do variations, not like a standard sit-up where you're grabbing the back of your neck, but still like crunching type motions make a lot of sense. A sprinter's crunch is one I really like. I'm not going to be able to do it with this setup, but you're laying on your back, you have one foot in the air, and you are reaching both hands up towards that 1 foot, okay? Do that on both sides, 6 on one side, 6 on the other, mix it up. Back to what I was saying though, like I would do other stuff. I would do squats, I would do lunges, I would do push-ups, I would do pulling motions if you can. I would do Superman holds where you're laying on the ground and your hands and your feet are in the air, your legs are in the air, your chest and like upper body as in the air as you can. It's a great lower back exercise. You can do like side crunch stuff. Where I was going with that is that you can't spot reduce fat. So doing core work isn't going to change the appearance of your core. And maybe that's not even where you're going with this at all. Maybe you're just like, hey, asshole Mike, like I have a lower back issue and I need to strengthen my core, okay? So stop making assumptions about my fitness goals. In which case, I apologize. But yeah, what other, some kind of rotational stuff too we want to mix in, right? So like isolation holds, like a plank or like a weighted plank or like a side plank are good. Grabbing something, I don't know if you have like a med ball at home. If you don't, like, I don't know, grab something that weighs 5 or 8 or 10 pounds and sit on your butt and have your feet up in the air and do Russian twists to the side, to the other side. Yeah, make a mix of those. Chris says, hey Mike, should I drop the gym membership and go all in on CrossFit? No, you shouldn't, unless you want to win the CrossFit games. Or should it be supplemented to my normal gym routine? That sounds like a ton of volume today. If you're like working out 3 days a week at your gym and then you're CrossFitting 1 or 2 or 3 days a week, it sounds like a lot of volume. What are you trying to do? If you are trying to snatch 185 pounds, then you should go find a good CrossFit box with good coaches and like a good community, and you should do it, and that's going to be great for you. But if your goals are aesthetic, if they are how you want to look and how you want to feel, I shouldn't even say feel, because a lot of good CrossFit boxes, like there will be good mobility stuff there. You'll feel better. You'll get stronger. Your muscular, your anaerobic endurance will be better. You'll get better at lifting. But CrossFit type training, in my opinion, isn't optimal for fat loss. So you can do it, and you can stay in a deficit, and you can lose fat. Your workouts are going to struggle a little bit, but you can, but I don't think it's necessary. I don't suggest it. What's your take on V8 juice? I don't even know the macros in V8 juice. Like, I would have to see it in front of me. Anything that is micronutrient dense, you're getting lots of vitamins and minerals, and there aren't a ton of calories, I think is a good thing, especially for people who are busy and don't get a lot of fruits and vegetables. Guys, I'm like burning out. All right, 6 more. Marley asks a lot of questions. I don't always have time. Okay, healthy food in the neighborhood that isn't too expensive. Chipotle is the best restaurant in New York City, probably the United States, probably even the world. So I would go to Chipotle. Actually, I do. I go to Chipotle every single day. It's not super expensive. You can get extra meat for like $2.50. It's the dream. They have a thing on their website where you can literally calculate your calories and macros based on what you put in your bowl or your burrito or whatever, right there on your phone. It's amazing. What do you recommend for people? Like, obviously there's other places too, but honestly, I don't know them. I know there's that like organic place, but you don't sound super into salads. Like Nate and Ty and some other guys with bad taste in Mexican food, like Dos Toros. I don't know, apparently they have good tortillas. Not really into that. I'm a Chipotle guy. What do you recommend for people to snack on to sustain energy throughout the day without adding a lot of calories costs? Like, if we want something that sustains you and keeps you high energy, but isn't too many calories, I would say a nutrient dense food like a berry, like a strawberry or a blackberry or a raspberry, but like we throw cost in there, and I don't know exactly what that means for you, but it probably eliminates most produce options, so berries go out the window. I would just caffeinate. Like I would just green tea it and drink a lot of water. How do I get started doing weight training? Is there a point? Marley, shoot me an email. This is too many questions to answer right now for me. Nikki, how do I figure out what my mix should be 50% protein, 20% carbs, etc. Super good question. So how to set up your macros is really, I'll give you like the theory behind it right now. Protein is set based on lean body mass, meaning total body weight minus the weight of your body fat. And you set protein for a few reasons. When you're trying to lose fat, it is, one, it helps keep you more full than carbs or fat. So like obviously you're going to be hungry when you're losing fat, and protein helps it be less miserable. Two, the thermic effect of protein, or the body's cost, meaning we expend calories to digest food, and we expend more calories digesting protein than we do digesting carbs or fats, okay? So that's another reason we get a little extra calorie expenditure via the thermic effect of food. And three, we don't want to lose muscle mass because muscle looks good on everyone, except for those girls on the magazine covers that we talked about earlier. And like, to each his own. If you want to look like that, that's fucking awesome. More power to you. Like, I shouldn't use those specific women as negative examples. In fact, I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to come up with another do women get big and bulky like point, because I don't know, like those chicks put a lot of time and effort and years into getting super ripped and jacked, and if they wanted to do it, good for them, you know? Claudio, in your honest opinion, all right, and then I would set carbs also based on lean body mass. Just email me. It's different for everyone. I'm actually going to like write a book or a product, or maybe just a blog, like a super long blog post or something on how to set your macros. In your honest opinion, what's the level of importance for each? Cardio, diet, weightlifting. Assuming the goals that I always assume you have, diet is by far number one, strength training number two, cardio number three. Unless you enjoy cardio, then do it. Alex asks, what are the best foods to eat before and after a workout? We kind of covered this. Joanna asks, is SoulCycle a good workout for weight loss paired with the right eating? Paired with the right eating, yeah. If your diet's on point and you want to go do SoulCycle because you like the vibe and the energy in the class, and there's a cool instructor, and you like the music, and you like the competition, the team, or whatever, and maybe it's just trendy and cool and like you want to go, then yeah, it is. It's not going to have the benefit of strength training in retaining lean body mass while losing body fat. The other thing about super intense forms of cardio like that, being in a calorie deficit, depending on how frequently you go, is that cardio makes you hungry, okay? So like, if you burn 2,000 calories a day and you're only eating 1,400 calories a day, and you're already pretty feisty and you're like, shit, this sucks, this whole like dieting thing isn't fun, I really just want this to be over with, and you throw SoulCycle on top of that, which is going to create a larger deficit, it's going to be harder to stick with, right? But no, like, I am okay with the combination of a properly set up diet with some SoulCycle as your workout, if you're okay with losing a little bit of lean body mass. Tina, so many of us are on ClassPass and taking a number of different classes per week. The question is, if your goal is to be leaner and tone up, what is the optimal combination of cardio classes to more core to more strength? The optimal combination. There isn't an optimal combination. Strength training should be a staple, assuming the goals that you have, that you just listed, and cardio is optional if you want to do it, if it like brings you value. Like I've probably said, I'm like a broken record in this video. But let's just, you have a ClassPass, I'll give you an answer. 2 strength training sessions, 1 cardio session, and if you like the core Pilates stuff, do 1 of those. If you don't, maybe do 3 strength training sessions and 1 cardio session. Or just 2 strength training and 1 cardio and only work out 3 times per week, which is awesome, which is what I'm doing right now. All right, this was great. Thank you all for your questions. Like I said, I'm seriously jabbing the shit out of 2015, so feel free to ask more questions if you have them. I'm super happy to help. yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you guys soon. All right. And feel free to ask follow-ups in the comments section. I'll reply. All right.